This is the Government Week in Review for the week ending Friday, June 30th, 2023. I am Sherry Ann Noel. In the headlines, government and public workers unions signed collective bargaining agreement, resulting in significant benefits for public officers. We will be back after this break.
Something big is coming. It's that time of the year again when the air fills with rhythm, excitement, and anticipation. It's time for the Soca Monarch Prelims. 4 unforgettable nights, 4 electrifying venues, soca music, pulsating rhythms, and performances that will leave you breathless. July 6th and 7th, we're kickstarting at Lassager St. David, and then we're turning up the heat. July 8th, we move to Cuthbert Peters Park, St. John, and for the grand finale, July 9th, we'll be shaking the ground at Boss Yard St. Patrick. Can you feel the excitement? Every night starts at 7 p.m. sharp. Be there and experience the electrifying energy of soca. And here's the best part. All this for an admission fee of just $15. There's no excuse to miss this. So mark your calendars and brace yourself for a soca experience like no other. The Soca Monarch Prelims. It's not just an event. It's an unforgettable experience. Spice Mass, The Evolution. We'll see you there.
Welcome back. Significant benefits are on the way for public officers following the signing of collective bargaining agreements for salary increases and fringe benefits between the Public Workers Union and the government negotiating team. Following several rounds of negotiations, both parties have agreed on salary increases for the period January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2025. 4% in 2023, 4% in 2024, and 5% in 2025. The agreement also includes benefits for contract workers, increase in government's payment of health care insurance for public officers from 50% to 55%, and an increase in ex gratia payments to former employees of $500 monthly. Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell, during Wednesday's signing ceremony, said he is optimistic that if government and the unions continue to collaborate, many issues that are currently affecting workers can be resolved over time. He commended the teams for putting the interests and needs of workers first during the negotiations.
The Public Workers Union represents the single largest group of employees who work for the state of Grenada, and so it is obviously quite important to ensure that we have common understanding on fringe benefits, salaries, prospectively and not retrospectively, because I think it allows for predictability, certainty, and it allows us to tackle some of the other very challenging issues that remain to be tackled. And I think if we can show that we can agree on salaries and fringe benefits without having somebody clobbering us together to get there, it probably, I think, also signals that we can work together to address some of the other challenges that no doubt still remain outstanding. So I'm very happy that we have been able to do so. It took a little longer than I would have liked, I'll admit that. Sometimes a little is a feast. I'm sure if we didn't have as many of the constraints and the limited resources that we do have, that we would certainly want to have better benefits for all employees. There's no doubt about that. But I also appreciate the understanding of the employees in recognizing that it's not just always about wages and salaries or fringe benefits, but there are other ways that we can also address and other issues that we can address to make the work experience better. I know the DPA is working on a number of initiatives. We got the Human Resource Officers Network, which I think would also go a long way in addressing some of the issues that we face in the public service. Obviously, we are working on the regularization framework, which is also critical.
Chairman of the government negotiating team, Bernard Antwine, said the future of public service looks brighter due to what's to come following the signing.
The fact that there is a common recognition that this really is for the betterment of the public service. In any negotiations, nobody gets everything that they want. So I think it's useful that you reach a stage where you realize and recognize whatever it is that we do is for the betterment of the public service. I believe that with the signing of this agreement today, that public service is in a better place. And I noticed the president is shaking his head. I don't think that's by any error. The public services is in a better place, and by extension, Grenada is in a better place because of what it is that all of us collectively would have agreed on today.
President of the Public Workers Union, Brian Grimes, is pleased with the outcome. He announced several significant benefits that workers will soon enjoy.
We did not get all that we asked for, but I think this particular negotiating cycle, this particular period, has been groundbreaking, right? The first thing in terms of big ticket items, I want to speak on it because it's important to celebrate our victories, small and large. This is the first fringe benefit agreement we would have had in over 10 years. That is very, very significant. I think both the employer and the unions and workers should be happy about this. Very, very importantly, and I know I was speaking to a contract worker up here, this package has in it a clause stating contract workers will get the increases, even fixed-term contract workers. This is monumental. This is groundbreaking. In the past, we have had very, very serious battles with the past administration in terms of members of our bargaining unit being left out in terms of their ability to secure increases. So having now enshrined in our agreement stating that contract workers will get it, it may have some administrative hiccups in terms of, you have a little extra work to do, but I think it's worth it in terms of the justice and the equity across the public service. So this is tremendous as far as the union is concerned.
Earlier this month, the Prison Welfare Association signed on behalf of prison officers following negotiations with the government negotiating team for the period January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2025. Under the previous administration, an agreement signed in 2020 for a 4% increase for the period January 1st, 2020 to December 31st, 2023. Acting Commissioner of Prisons Rupert Nichols and Kellon Latouche, Chairman of the Welfare Association, both expressed satisfaction with the outcome of the negotiations.
After we have negotiated and get the salary increases, it's up to us now here at the facility to produce, because it's not a one-way street, it's a two-way street, and if we are only receiving and not giving back, then it does not make any sense. But we have to collaborate and work together for the betterment of this country.
Through the quick resolve of the GNT, we were able to come to this agreement where we can sign here today. Though not fully completed, but we are at a point where we are comfortable with the information that we receive, and we're just grateful to the GNT for the quick resolve.
The OECS Council of Ministers of Agriculture is moving forward with optimism that new plans and programs to be implemented will improve individual agricultural sectors. Director General of the OECS, Dr. Didicus Jules, says the Food and Agriculture System Transformation Initiative, which each member country has agreed to, will push the OECS plans to reduce the regional food import bill by 25% by 2025. The FAST initiative aims to reduce food insecurity, transform the sub-region food and agricultural system through investments and programs. Dr. Jules said positive results require collaboration and a commitment from each country to identify national imperatives to enable countries to pool resources to overcome weaknesses. Dr. Jules was addressing the 7th Organization of Eastern Caribbean States Council of Ministers in Agriculture meeting, which concluded in Grenada on Friday. The meeting highlighted the need to increase food sustainability, reduce food import bills, increase trade, food and nutrition security, retool the agriculture sector, and increase food accessibility and youth participation in agriculture.
It is the expectation that the implementation of the CARICOM Agri-Food Systems strategy in the member states will be the proposed path to help achieve this target. To date, 2 agriculture investment expositions have been convened in Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago. Likewise, movement on key areas such as transportation involving Guyana, Barbados, and Trinidad and Tobago, the construction of a food hub in Barbados, and the launch of the Regional Shade House initiative have begun. Colleagues, the OECS Food and Agriculture Systems Transformation FAST strategy was developed in response to the wider CARICOM 25 by 25 initiative, and to consider the particular or nuanced circumstances of our sub-region. More specifically, The OECS FAST strategy will guide our response in the OECS to increase food insecurity, given our unique context and vulnerabilities.
Minister for Agriculture, Lands, Fisheries and Cooperative, Senator the Honorable Adrian Thomas, outlined Grenada's intentions to increase production, reduce the food import bill, and increase food security.
My government is pursuing a transformative agenda with the overall objective of transforming the economy to a sustainable, equitable, and prosperous Grenada for all. Comrades, the strategy is to strengthen the economy sector by developing linkages among agriculture, agro-processing, marine resources, and tourism. The Ministry of Agriculture is aligned with this strategic goal and has as its mandate, 1, strengthening agriculture to increase food production, thereby reducing the food input bill, enhancing food and nutrition security. 2, developing agro-processing industries to increase value added in the economy, strengthen linkages within the agricultural sector, and reduce unemployment, particularly in the rural areas.
Honorable Roland Royer, chairman of the OECS Council of Ministers, explained that the council must focus on heavy collaboration, long and medium-term measures to guarantee security and increasing competitiveness for overseas markets.
We believe that through shared knowledge, best practices, research and development, innovation, and the facilitation of agricultural trade, finance, investment, we can achieve much as a grouping. We must prioritize technical and business activities that strengthens our capacity to increase the productivity and regional trade of agricultural products and the demand for healthy food to reverse the increasing trends of the incidence of non-communicable diseases. The collaborative effort and coordination critical for retooling the agricultural sector to enhance our respective national production and marketing capacities and for building sustainable, resilient, and competitive agriculture must be captured in our discussion on the FAST strategy.
Friday's meeting was preceded by a Food and Agriculture System Transformation FAST consultation workshop, also at Radisson. This is the Government Week in Review. When we return, Coast Guard receives vessel through the U.S. Southern Command.
Prepare for hurricane. Prepare for hurricane. Make sure you have your radio and your batteries too. Waterproof flashlight candles will do. Tin stuff, garbage bag, first aid kit. Come on people, make sure you have it. Clean water in a container and a hurricane plan. Hear me no man.
Hurricane damage is beyond your control. Surviving the aftermath is up to you. Have a hurricane plan. It can save your life and your family too.
Prepare for hurricane. Your hair, prepare for hurricane.
Welcome back. A $1.2 million vessel equipped with a modern navigational system was earlier this week donated to the Grenada Coast Guard by the United States of America through the U.S. Southern Command, SOUTHCOM, measuring 12 meters in length. The vessel was recently used to rescue a Venezuelan and an Italian national whose Piper aircraft crashed approximately 14 miles off the coast of Grenada. Prime Minister and Minister for National Security, Honorable Deacon Mitchell, said he expects nothing but rapid response of efforts given the exquisite features of the vessel. He presented the keys to the Acting Commissioner of Police, Don Mackenzie, who then handed them over to Coast Guard Commander, Acting Superintendent Watson Edwards.
This enhanced communication capabilities allow us seamless coordination with our military vessels and aircraft, empowering us to respond swiftly and efficiently to maritime emergencies. And as alluded to both by the Commissioner and Mr. Bostic, we had such a maritime emergency recently, which thankfully ended well for everyone. And I too want to take the opportunity again to commend our Coast Guard for the remarkable job that they did in rescuing the 2 persons who had the plane crash.
Prime Minister Mitchell assured that the boat will be used for its intended purpose.
This donation strengthens the unbreakable bonds of cooperation and friendship between the people and government of the United States and the people and government of Grenada. And it reinforces our shared commitment to maritime safety and security. And as Minister with National Security, I certainly offer Mr. Bostic my assurance that we will utilize this remarkable vessel to its fullest potential.
U.S. Ambassador to Barbados, the Eastern Caribbean and OECS, Her Excellency Linda Taglialatella, commended the Coast Guard for its exemplary service.
As we walk around the pier here, it shows very clearly how much effort and dedication you put into maintaining your vessels and equipment. I am pleased that we can be steadfast security partners with you through the United States' Foreign Military Finance Program and, of course, through the Caribbean Basin Security Initiative's TAF team. Our long-lasting partnership continues to offer opportunities to grow and learn from each other to make the region safer. The United States Embassy and Southern Command are committed to continually supporting Grenada as our partner. We are comfortable to know that you are always vigilant and on patrol, keeping the waters of the Southeastern Caribbean safe.
Mr. Kevin Bostic, Director of Exercises and Coalition Affairs Directorate in Southcom, says their donation shows a great relationship between the two countries.
This is another leg in that stool that continues to show our partnership, our building the team, and our getting after the threats that are in the region. Sometimes the threats have a narcotics type venue along with it, but sometimes it's like they said the other day, a natural disaster or an accident. And now the boat you see over here on the side to you was able to get put to use before it even really got commissioned into the country. We're happy to be here. We're happy to be able to donate it. If anybody doesn't know, this is a $1.2 million investment in the country. Yeah. Again, key for the United States to strengthen that partnership with Grenada, maintain that relationship with Grenada, and the only thing that we ask is that you use it for its intended purpose, sir, and that is your call, but it is definitely a donation.
Moving along, Grenada's Minister of State with responsibility for agriculture and lands, fisheries and cooperatives, Senator the Honorable Adrian Thomas, has pledged government's continued support to the sector through investments, developmental projects and programs. He was speaking at activities to mark the annual Fisherman's Birthday celebrations. They were held under the theme, One Ocean, One Planet, One Plate, Uniting Aquatic Food Standards and Ocean Health. We have more in this report by Karima Lewis.
The annual celebration, observed on June 29, honors St. Peter, the patron saint of fishermen, and acknowledges the invaluable contributions and sacrifices made by fisherfolk towards the economic development of communities and the nation as a whole. Following the customary tradition, the day's activities in Guave St. John began with a church service, a procession through the streets, and the blessing of the boats. Minister of State with responsibility for agriculture and lands, fisheries and cooperatives, Senator Adrian Thomas, addressing the congregation at the celebratory mass held at Guave Roman Catholic Church, lauded Grenada's thriving fishing sector, which boasts 4,600 registered fisherfolk, a sector valuation of EC $400 million, and an annual revenue exceeding EC $40 million. According to the senator, the fishing sector in Grenada has experienced remarkable growth, emerging as one of the fastest growing sectors in the country over the past 4 years.
The value of total fish catch increased from 6 million EC dollars in 1978 to over 40 million EC dollars prior to 2020, before the COVID. Similarly, fish exports increased from 2 million EC dollars in 1984 to over 30 million during the same period. Overall, investments in infrastructure, services in the fisheries sector are now valued approximately $400 million. The number of fishing units within the sector over the past 2 decades grew from 64% from 601 to 990 vessels. During the same period, the number of fishermen increased by 75%. From 2,600 to 4,525.
The minister says Grenada's fishing sector offers employment opportunities, both directly and indirectly, to more than 6,000 individuals across the state. Recognizing this, he emphasized the importance of providing ongoing support to the sector, highlighting the Food Security Enhancement Project as a specific initiative aimed at achieving this goal.
Under this project, the following will be done. 1. Expansion in fish aggravated device, which would reduce the cost of operation for fishers, thereby increasing income. 2. Extension of the ship-to-shore communication network to improve the safety of our fisher folk, thus protecting lives, livelihood, and property. 3. Training in post-harvest technology and fish handling to improve quality, increase income, and reduce losses. 4. Capacity building for fisher operating vessels of various sites. 5. Training in safety at sea and ship-to-shore communication. 6. Rehabilitation and installation of cold storage facilities and ice machine and fish market centers throughout Grenada. Finally, training in product development to enhance value addition.
Chief Fisheries Officer Justin Rennie emphasizes the importance of fisherfolk adopting business-oriented measures to protect their livelihoods and ensure the sustainable future of their trade.
The perils of fishing make it incumbent that every fisherfolk should have some form of social security, for example, the NIS, as a source of support to provide for yourself and your family when you're unable to continue your fishing operations or in the event of becoming incapacitated. It is also critical for fisherfolks to engage in financial management and planning and conduct your fishing operation as a business whereby you would develop the habit of saving and making meaningful investments.
Minister for Agriculture, Fisheries and other related sectors in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Honorable Saboto Caesar, who is currently attending the 7th meeting of the OECS Council of Agriculture Ministers in Grenada, praised Grenada's fishing sector as a source of envy within the OECS. He emphasized that everyone has a part to play in the sustainability of the sector.
Food security is of first importance. Today we celebrate, we reflect, but we must also prepare. Because there is a saying that each generation blames the generation before. Therefore, we are custodians of the blue economy. And whenever we utilize our marine resources, we must do so in a sustainable manner.
Thank you, Karima. The People's Republic of China has donated $50,000 to the National Disaster Management Agency, NADMA, to support its plans and programs for disaster preparedness. A check was presented on Wednesday to Prime Minister and Minister for Disaster Management, Honorable Deacon Mitchell, by Ambassador His Excellency Wei Hongsheng. Ambassador Wei said the government and people of China are always willing to help the Caribbean friends given their disaster-prone locations and vulnerability to natural disasters and threats of climate change. Last year, the People's Republic of China gave the agency US $50,000.
Every year, countries in this region, including Grenada, are facing many problems caused by these negative impacts. We would like to commend Grenadian government and the leadership of Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell and his party, his team, especially NADMA's efforts in the preparedness and management of this work. In this regard, China is ready to work with our partners, including Grenada and other countries in the world, to jointly improve our capacity and to work together to do more in preventing and managing of these natural disasters.
Prime Minister Mitchell said the donation will enhance the disaster mitigation and prevention measures of the agency and are critical to ensure their resilience to future events.
NADMA, Your Excellency, has been given not just operational responsibility but now legal responsibility, as we've since passed the National Disaster Management Law that officially gives NADMA the legal authority to be responsible for disaster management in Grenada, and not just natural disasters, but anything that could potentially be a disaster. And so preparedness is a major aspect of this approach, because we recognize that if we are better prepared, then we are better able to manage and respond to disasters. And so this donation will go a significant way in ensuring that NADMA can in fact become operationalized as a statutory body.
Disaster Management Coordinator Dr. Terence Walters also expressed thanks for the donation.
I take this opportunity to say thanks to the People's Republic of China for a contribution of $50,000 US. Now that will go a very long way in enhancing our preparedness efforts at the National Disaster Management Agency. We aim to reduce risk and vulnerability and to enhance preparedness in our country, and we continue to work to ensure that the population is ready, prepared at all times.
During Wednesday's check handover, both parties also signed the contract for the Vincent's Community Center refurbishment project funded by the Chinese Embassy in Grenada. Ambassador Wei said more projects will commence soon. We take another break. When we return, 12 Grenadians complete course in assistive technology.
Have you noticed an increase or decrease in your electricity bill? You know that changes in the fuel and non-fuel rates affect your bill. You should also be aware that changes in household activities affect your bill. Ask yourself these questions. Have the rates changed? Have there been more people at your home? Have your children been on holiday? Have you used your fan or air conditioning unit more often to beat the heat? Are any of your electrical appliances or equipment faulty? Have you added any new appliances such as transformers, water heaters, or pumps? Make it a habit to understand any changes on your electricity bill. For more factors that affect your bill, visit www.grenlec.com. Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Welcome back. 12 Grenadians in the field of special education have graduated after completing a 6-week course about assistive technology, which will be used to help students with learning disabilities. 50 graduates from 7 regional countries participated in the course. The graduation ceremony was held virtually on June 29th. Grenada's participants said the course was informative and practical, and that assistive technology will help many of their students with communication challenges. Sarana Mitchell reports.
Grenada's participants gathered in the conference room of the Ministry of Education on June 29th to participate in the virtual graduation ceremony after completing the 6-week course. The introductory course on assistive technology was sponsored by the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States Program for Educational Advancement and Relevant Learning, OECS Pearl, and was instructed by the Commonwealth of Learning based in Vancouver, Canada. Director General of the OECS, Dr. Didacus Jules, in his remarks, noted that he was comforted by the increased attention being given to special education needs in the region. He applauded the work of the OECS Pearl in focusing on both special education and mainstream education. Dr. Jules then directed his attention to the graduates and pledged his support of the OECS Commission.
The matter of inclusion, though, is a contentious one. While it is ideal, the resources available may not be best to be able to accommodate it. However, where it is feasible, we understand the value of an unadulterated learning experience in real classrooms and real schools that prepares those with special needs for the real world. Your new learning, strengthened by the use of assistive technologies, takes us closer to the goal of meaningful inclusion. We urge you to use that knowledge and generate even more learning for yourselves and your students. Keep your voices strong and clear. The OECS Commission will provide support for advocacy, resource mobilization, policy development, and general awareness building.
Participants shared their views about the course and how they will use the assistive technology.
It afforded us the opportunity to do a deep dive in the situation analysis of special education needs in Grenada. And at the same time, it afforded us the ability to research and practice, I would call it that, or fiddle around with different assistive devices.
Like what? What kind of assistive devices did you fiddle around with?
Assistive devices for communication. So we had a number of different things for communication, PICs, we had Dynavox. So you're looking in and you're seeing what is available. Some of it is expensive because some of the companies have to make their money, yes, but at the same time you will also find a lot of devices which would perform the same functions, which are available at either low cost or no cost, free based on some of the apps involved. So you had for communication, we had for speech and language, we had organizational tools for deaf and hard of hearing, and for persons who are blind and visually impaired.
First of all, of course, because the fact that I'm a teacher, obviously I'm going to be able to teach other blind and visually impaired students, and even persons, adults, who have disabilities, how to use, let's say, for example, the computer with screen reading software, phones, and so with special apps that can help you do daily tasks.
Because a lot of our children have issues in communication and being able to express. So from text to speech, some of them, they might be more inclined to type, and a lot of them have different speech difficulties or impairment or limited speech. The technologies were available to help them to express themselves.
The 50 graduates were from Antigua and Barbuda, the British Virgin Islands, Dominica, St. Kitts Nevis, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Grenada. The OECS Pearl is in the process of procuring assistive technology devices to assist students with special education needs. The Organization of Eastern Caribbean States Program for Educational Advancement and Relevant Learning, OECS Pearl, is a 4-year program that is funded by the Global Partnership for Education. Sarana Mitchell reporting.
The course was sponsored by the OECS Program for Educational Advancement and Relevant Learning, OECS Pearl, with instructional support from the Commonwealth of Learning. More than 20 food handlers are now medically cleared and trained to prepare food for the carnival season and beyond, following their participation in a 2-day 9-module training by the Environmental Health Department in the Ministry of Health. The training, which concluded on Thursday, focused on food safety, personal hygiene, safe food storage practices, cleaning and sanitizing, vector control, and food security legislation. It is geared toward creating a safer environment through which food is prepared and consumed. The annual training is done to provide individuals with certified badges to prepare and sell food daily and during carnival and other events. Participants Lynette Andrews, Brandon Edwards, and Valerie Francis are optimistic that it will improve their business. They are thankful to the Ministry of Health for the opportunity to be better food handlers.
I think the training was very informative. I think many people who is in the food handling area should really take the opportunity to come to this training whenever the ministry is carrying out these trainings. It's very informative. You learn a lot of things what you should and should not have been doing. One thing that stood out for me is cleanliness. When coming to how you keep your business, how you do everything, cleanliness was one of the most basic points what was carried out through the training. So cleanliness.
I find it was very informative, and it put me in a position to better serve customers, and it helped me to be more aware of the different foodborne disease and illnesses we have out there that we're not aware of, and sometimes we think we probably get it from water, or we probably get it from something, and it just could be we normal preparation home for our own consumption, or could be something we might have purchased on the street. So it enlightened me in terms of that. I wasn't aware of so much foodborne illnesses. I will encourage persons to take advantage of training of this nature. It will put the nation in a position where we'll have a lot of less complications, I should say.
I currently do food, but I have not attended the food safety training. Previously, this is my first time. I was also thinking of vending for the carnival, so I thought it would be a great idea to attend the training course so that I would learn the aspects of food handling. This training was very important, and anybody who's thinking of food handling should definitely attend this course. Now that I know so much more, I mean, some of the things you do, you think, oh, you're doing it the right way, until you come to the training and you realize, for example, you might wash your hands, but you have to wash your hands for 30 seconds and rinse it for about 30 seconds. So, you know, it's eye-opening.
And with that, we come to the end of the Government Week in Review for the period ending June 30th. On behalf of the entire news and production team, I am Sherry Noel, thanking you for viewing.